6 over 60, a show about living a great life at a great age. This show is made possible because of You Care and Northern Tier Insurance.
Hey, welcome to 6 over 60. I'm with my good friend Dennis Jacobs, and we are here at the Deal Airport and in his personal hangar with his planes.
This is it right here.
This is it.
Right.
So, how did you get into, being a pilot?
When I was a little kid, I ate, drank, and slept airplanes. I just loved airplanes. My dad was a pilot, so we went up quite a bit and so on like that. And then when I was with him, we were always trying to go flying. And then I loved it so much, I went and became an aerospace engineer. Went to the University of Minnesota. And then when I went out of there, I got in the Peace Corps and bummed around the world for a while, came back here and had a little bit of reallocation money, so I decided to take flying lessons. So this is back in the 60s.
Oh my gosh.
And I got my pilot's license, flew for several years there. And then I did a bunch of other things, and then about 25 years ago, I got back into it.
Wow.
And actually, what I did was we drove by, my dad and I drove by the airport, and we saw a bunch of planes out there, and I said, I got to get back into flying. So we stopped by there and met some of the pilots, and they all said, come on out, and I did, and got to know people, and I said, I'm going to get an airplane. So we bought this Cessna, that red and white one there, maroon and white one, on eBay about 25 years ago.
Oh my God, I know you could buy things on eBay, like a plane.
You can.
Like a plane.
And then so I flew that. That's probably one of the best airplanes in the world to fly when you're kind of an inexperienced pilot. It's a...
when you're an inexperienced pilot, is that what you said?
Yeah, and I was. And so what you do is that it's the most stable aircraft. If you're going to cut power or lose power, it'll let you down very gently. It's wonderful, wonderful. This is 1957. They started making them in 56, so that'd been around for a year. And so this is...
Wait, first of all, when you said the power goes out, it lets you down gently? What does that
mean?
mean?
If something would happen, if your engine went down or something like that, you could glide in and land it easily.
Seriously, with no power?
Oh yeah, it would not even be a problem and something like this.
Wow.
I think you'd want a decent place to land. Middle of Pacific's probably not a good idea.
I did not know that. It's not just cheap.
No, not at all. You get a glide ratio and you're going to do it. And that one over there.
Let's go over here.
Okay.
This is adorable. So you've taken people up in this,
I've taken hundreds and hundreds of people up in it.
Wow.
Yes. This one over here, after I had flown this for a lot of years, I kind of wanted a little bit single engine, take me back to the glory days of flying of the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. Well, this is 50s, but so that one I bought, and it needed a little work, so I recovered the wings, put in some stuff, repainted the whole thing, and then I flew that for about 8-10 years. This is a more difficult plane to fly than this.
Why is that?
One, it's a tail dragger, and you've got to be special licensed. All the old planes were all tail draggers. When you come down, if you get gusty winds or something like that, you're going to float for a while in these things, especially this make, a Taylorcraft, BC, 1946 Taylorcraft. You're going to float in those for a while. So if you get a gust, tell you a story. I was coming into Moorhead one time about a 20-mile-an-hour, 25-mile-an-hour crosswind, and I just bought this and just got checked out in it. And so I landed and I put it down and I thought, God, I'm good. Next thing I knew, I was up in the air again, pointing that way, heading off the runway down there. And I got her set down and got everything to take care of. But the thing is, when you set those down, the wind's coming in there, it's like a kite. It just wants to take off again. So this whole blog's dedicated to the best way to land these things. So anyway.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's get a little closer. So tell me what you're going to say.
This is it's a great little thing. It gets about 25, 30 miles to the gallon. That's as the crow flies. So it's a great little airplane for inexpensive travel. And it's a two-seater. So I've taken this all over the area. That I've flown over a lot of the country, mostly westerns, out to the west coast and so on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a wonderful airplane for that. Cruise about 120 as the crow flies, so it's really a pretty good way to travel.
And that's what you took my son and his girlfriend and my dad in, right?
Yes, I took all of Erica's family up in that thing.
And how come I didn't go up?
You
was
didn't
I too
want
scared?
to. Yeah, I offered you many times.
You did, and now I'm sad. I didn't go up in it.
We still might get a chance.
Even though my heart was
anyway, so this is a 1946 airplane. It's all fabric covered. I recovered all the wings, repainted it, and it's kind of a fun project. It's just, you know, it gives you a chance to learn something new and so on. I used to have a fold-back wing airplane right there called an Avid Flyer, which I sold about a year ago. It was a nice airplane, really good for locally. It flew at about 70, 80 miles an hour, landed anywhere, and it was a nice little plane. It's hand cranked. There's no electrical aspect to it at all, so you don't have any starter or anything like that. So you have to crank it.
Show me how it works.
Okay.
Okay, so
what you would do...
wait, let me get this mic up too. Woo, it's wet.
Okay.
Okay,
just
so...
stand
whoa,
here.
I'm gonna get here.
Stand here and just crank it down real fast. I don't want to do it. The ignition's not on, but anyway, so it just goes, and then you step back so you don't get hit by the prop. But it's kind of so, and what I'll do is if there's a group of people around, I'll grab somebody from the cart and have them stand in back of the tail so it can't come forward and hit me.
And that somebody standing there, that's enough?
Yeah, it'll stop it from going. And then if nobody's around, I'll tie it to something, my car, something like that, and then start it and then go and tie it, and then I can take off.
So these guys move fast, so you don't actually do it, but like, how do you not get hit from the propeller when it just...
Well, when you do it, you just wing yourself like that and push down as you step back. There's a whole technique to that. Some people do it differently, but basically you want to pull back and pull down and back at the same time.
This is terrible to ask, but do you know anybody who's gotten their arm chopped off?
No, I know people who have got hit and died from that, yes. I don't know if I've read about people. I don't know anybody personally. One in the back, I don't know if you can see it, but I built that several years ago. It's going to be the first electric airplane out of Detroit Lakes, in fact, out of the whole part of the country. This is a AC motor. This converts the battery power into AC, and then you have a throttle over there that controls how fast the thing turns. Yeah, right here. Okay. This is all this is a rheostat. It's just a variable resistor that controls how fast that goes around. Your foot feed in the car, electric car, is exactly the same thing. Same technology, everything is exactly. So instead of pushing this down with your foot, you're pushing it down like that, and that again controls your...
So now how much of this did you build, or did you buy it like this? Or?
Well, I bought a lot of the structure, put a lot of it together. It was broken when I bought it, and so I bought it, put a lot together, had some help painting it. Some of the local other pilots helped me out on this. And then I designed all of the electrical, the motor, all that kind of stuff. This was... again, designed about, I suppose 10 years ago, and I was testing out the FAA. This is the first one, electric, that the FAA was dealing with, so they really didn't know what to do, and you had to guarantee that you could fly and you could get back on time with the same battery load and all that kind of stuff. Oh my God. So I was out testing it out. They wouldn't let me get in the air, but I could do taxi testing. So I had done a weight and balance, figured everything out, thought it was perfect. And I was out taxi testing it, getting up to takeoff speed and then cutting power, and I had an accident. It flipped over on me.
What?
So, but nothing was hurt that. Well, the wing got busted, but outside of that, it was okay. So I rebuilt it, put it all together, but I said, I'm just too old for this kind of stuff.
What do you mean it flipped over? Not in the air, on the ground?
No, on the ground, yeah. Just the takeoff speed. I was just ready to take off. I cut power, and thing went over, and it's basically my reflexes at my age are not the best.
Did you get hurt when you flipped?
No, not at all.
Get a look at what is the experimental?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it was fun. I wish I had gotten it up in the air, but I figured after that happened, I'm just getting a little old for this type of thing. So it was basically, it flipped because of my reflexes. They just weren't quick enough to compensate. It started going, and I could have. If I would have caught the elevator quick enough, I could have stayed down, but I just was a little slow on that. Everything worked but me.
Did you do everything worked but you?
Yeah.
You didn't do the artwork, did you?
No, I had my grandniece came out and painted this for me.
Oh, super
This was
cute. Electric Dragon.
yeah, this is more state students helped me on this. They would come out and help assemble things and do this for the physics students out there. So I made it into the Minnesota State Dragons and just made it into Electric Dragon.
You know, I'm a Moorhead State graduate.
You are, huh?
I
All
know.
right, all right.
Only
And
the best.
So this tells you, this is all the battery display here. This tells you the status of all the batteries, when you better land or when you can stay up for a while. One good thing is that you know this, an electric car, when you take your foot off the accelerator and coast, you're recharging the battery.
Yep.
You've got regenerative. Same thing here. When you cut the power and you go down, the prop turns by itself and recharges the batteries. So this worked the same way as a car does and when it's coasting.
Nice.
And you're going to see a lot of these. I mean, the battery technology is getting better. That's what's holding this thing up. Battery technology, it's so simple, and hell, the motors last forever. You know, they just don't wear out. Like, we only got 2 moving berries in there. That's it. That's all that moves.
You think we're going to see a lot more electric planes?
Yeah, I think we have to. As the battery technology gets better, right now the engines and so on is so much more efficient, so much simpler than internal combustion, that there's no reason not to. And some people like their motors. They like the noise. They like the smell of the exhaust. They like everything about them, the internal combustion. But most people, if you say, have you ever driven electric or ever flown in electric or ever rode on a motorcycle electric, you said, you ever done that? And they say, no. Well, try it sometime. You'll love it. And you probably like your electric.
I love my electric car, and I personally do not like the smell of gas and exhaust and noise, so I like the quiet, and it's a smooth ride.
Yep.
And I feel a little bit better about climate action.
Yeah,
So-
right. We have to go that way. And so, how long it takes, I don't know. There's a lot of people who just don't like it. I mean, they don't like to change anything, and they're not going to do it.
You've been, though, I know we're going a little segue, but you've been working on renewable energy and energy efficiency for many years.
Since the 70s.
Yeah, so you've been ahead of the game. And
yeah, I have a Volkswagen vans, and I built my first electric Volkswagen van probably 30 years ago, even before the lithium ion came out. My first one was just to get in and out of Detroit Lakes at my place up north on just lead acid batteries. And pretty heavy, and it didn't do a whole lot, but it got me into town and back, and it was not internal combustion. Now I converted to lithium ion. It runs great all over the place. Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. You've seen it.
I have.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
And showing us your hangar and your planes. This has been 6 over 60 with Dennis Jacobs, and you're awesome.
Hey, thank you very
Thanks.
much. Thank you.